All right, so today we have Luke Quilter, the CEO of Sleeping Giant Media. Sleeping Giant Media is a fellow specialist search and social media marketing agency specializing in the application of digital marketing in Kent. Luke.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, I was just enjoying your tutorial there. It's one of my things I've got on my list to do is to learn Premiere Pro. I've been an iMovie user for far too long, and I keep kind of backing out of the transition because it's so easy on iMovie. So I really need to I need to make the leap. So yeah, I'll have to get involved.
Definitely go for it. It opens up a whole new world of stuff. You'll never go back to iMovie. That's what I say.
Agreed. No, it does look very cool.
No, man, it works great. Anyway, thanks for coming on. You've got a really professional looking setup going on, and here I am in my dark, dank flat.
It's
this is a green screen.
You've done well, Ben. You've done well, mate.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's your living room. It looks like a living room.
A bedroom. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean it works, right?
It does. I mean, it's a crazy kind of situation we find ourselves in, and I was slightly fortunate. My parents live on one side of the house, we live on the other side of the house. They got stuck in Corfu. This is their bedroom. They're not coming back for any time soon, so I got rid of the bed that was here. I painted the wall. I've nicked some stuff from the office and created myself a little backdrop that looks reasonably all right. So yeah, it's it's only because I had an additional room that I could muck around with.
Yeah, I'm in a situation where I don't really have that luxury, but I thought that you were in the office. You've actually created that in your home.
This is from scratch. Yeah. So if you look back at our the content that we pushed out kind of earlier on, that was a kind of a white wall. The whiteboard behind me wasn't there. And so this is all running on my hang on a second, I don't know if it'll work actually. Hang on a second, Cam 2. So there's my second screen, so you can see the lighting jiggery pokery. Hold on a second, there we go, the jiggery pokery that we've been learning and kind of getting involved with over the last kind of 8 weeks, which has been an interesting one of just trying to completely adapt the way that you kind of deliver content remotely. Because obviously we did a lot of it, but now it's a case of trying to do it from here, from my house. It's a bit different to having all the kit and all the team at the office.
Yeah, well, this is
as you know.
This is a massive reason why we wanted to talk to you. Obviously, the pandemic has made content creation, forced content creators to completely change the way that they do things, particularly when they're working from an office. So other than setting up this little studio in your house, what else have you kind of been doing to sort of adapt?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we do a live show similar to you guys. We do 2 of those a week, and started off really just simply using Google Hangouts, and just as I sort of learned the tech. So I think the biggest challenge is, normally in the sort of the world before this, it would be, I've got a team of people that would be learning all the tech, experimenting with everything, and I just turn up, sit down, and go, say what I'm told to say, and then they do all the wizardry in sort of beforehand and after, and doing an amazing job with it. And I think the biggest change has been a lot more of it sits on sort of my capability to try to understand some of the tech. So actually, you did this sort of tutorial using Premiere Pro. If I was going to do that, I'd have to learn Premiere Pro. I mean, what I've had to learn is OBS, Stream Deck, Stream PCs, and stuff like that. So that's the tech that I've had to kind of get my head around to start with, and because you're filming in a live environment, that you don't have to do as much post-production. So we're trying to get the quality up on the initial production, so that then it requires less post-production edit. You can still obviously do post-production as you guys do, and as we do as well, but it just helps if the kind of the initial streams of a decent kind of quality. So I think the change has been trying to get the person that would be in front of the camera to have to be a bit more involved in the production, and that's for us because obviously that was something that I didn't do beforehand. So that's been a kind of an interesting kind of learning curve, and also just kind of getting your head around how to present live shows as well. I know Ben's a pro. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I was like, I just jumped in and I was like, hi, how's it going? And then gradually started to learn a few sort of things. But yeah, if you haven't got somebody who's got radio experience like Ben,
yeah,
do you know what I
Have
mean?
you
It's
watched
like
the show, Luke? I mean,
I have, and exactly again, you know what you're saying, mate. Every time we try to do it, I press the wrong button. I go through this sheer panic about 5 minutes before we go live, and I'm panicking. Have I got the right buttons? Have I got the right scenes set up? Trying to then coordinate pushing to live. So there's, it's high pressure for me. I know you're an old hand at this, but I'm panicking. I'm sweating. That's why I need like.
I'm the same. I've never really done anything like this before, and like Ben's just so relaxed with it. Like the first 2 or 3 shows that I did, I was literally like really like high nerves, like high anxiety before we went live.
It's so high pressure.
People watching it, and 6 of them are our work colleagues.
It doesn't matter. High pressure.
Do you know what though? One thing that I want to add to that, and I think me and Jack spoke about this the other day when we were reviewing the shows. If you go back and watch an early live video of what you done, what it looked like, how the interview went, how that sounded, what you're doing with it, and then realize where you've come in for us like 5 weeks, and Jack when he started out interviewing people, like to now how comfortably that's flowing, it really is. And it's the same with radio. It's about airtime. The more you do it, the better you will sound. And the easier you'll find a formula to make sure that things sort of flow naturally. And I think that's what's great. Like you guys started out, as you said, on Google Hangout, and you've got to a point now where you're streaming across like 5-6 different platforms with an amazing look, with guests there and everything. I know Danny's a bit of a brandaholic, like looking absolutely slick and great. And I think taking people on that journey as well is also important, because we're not, I mean, I know I do a bit of radio on the side, but we're not polished, all of us, like polished TV presenters. The reason why we're doing this is because we're passionate about delivering great content to help people and to give them something that gives them some ambition and drive. And I think that's what's great with what you guys are doing. And I think that's where we sit with doing these things as well.
I totally agree. It has definitely been a journey, and it's been an escalated journey. I think we were talking about this, and actually, shout out to Danny, Amber, and Alex in the brand and marketing team, who do an incredible job with not just this but all the stuff. We've got so much content and value that we're sort of trying to push out as well, because as you said, it's a crazy time, and if we can add an element of inspiration, if we can add an element of ideas and interaction and ideas that they can take back to their business to help them in some way. I mean, it's that's what we're kind of focusing on. So it's not just the show. There's so much that they've been kind of doing. But we've all been on this journey. And actually, we were talking, if we tried to do this probably 3, 4, 5 months ago, it would have taken us probably 3 or 4 months to formulate an idea to get to the point where we were happy with it being good enough to go live. Whereas we did it within about 4 hours this time, and then it was sketchy to start with, and it's got gradually kind of incrementally it's kind of got better and better each kind of week as we've kind of got a bit more comfortable with the tech and all those sorts of things as well. So it's definitely it's been an interesting journey.
That's funny. Ben and I were having a similar conversation this morning about, let's say, for example, the lockdown has forced us all to kind of adapt and change, and doing things like this at first it seems scary, but there's a certain advantage to it. If we were to attempt to do this back in the office, all of a sudden you've got a tech headache. Like, okay, so now we need a mic each. It's got to go into one computer. We need to figure out, how do the guests work? Is it still the platform we're using? How do we do it? Do they come into the office? And all of a sudden it seems so much more impractical to do this once lockdown's lifted. Yeah,
no, totally. I think it also forces you to try new things a bit quicker. And I think we've been talking about this a lot. So I do a lot of talks for different groups around the UK, CEO groups, and also speaking events. And one of the things that we're pushing out is the restart up mentality. And this situation reminds me very much of what it was like 12 years ago when we set Sleeping Giant Media up, where you are trying things. And it might not be great. It might fail instantly, but actually that's okay, because you've got to have no fear. You've got to push it out there, see if it works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, do something else. And I think there's a lot of parallels that we can kind of draw. And I think the message we're trying to push to people out is to say, you can think of this as a really terrible situation, and I know that it is for some, absolutely. But we shouldn't be focused on recovery. We shouldn't be focused on getting back to normal. We should be focused on reinvention, focusing on the future, and remind ourselves and thinking this as a startup opportunity, because if we see this as an opportunity, we'll probably have better ideas. We'll probably get to a revenue level or to wherever you want to aim for quicker with that mentality than we would if we focused on, you know, the way that we used to do it. And you know, so I think we've got to see this as an opportunity, try new things. Not all of them are going to be great, and have some fun whilst you're doing it.
Absolutely, totally agree. We sort of touched a little bit on earlier about how it's forced everybody, but specific to our industry, how it's forced us to kind of change and adapt the way we do things. There've been a lot of collaborations, and I think the digital industry seems to have been pulling together a lot. So what are your sort of thoughts on that, and how the attitudes have kind of been forced to change? And
yeah, I think in our sector, I think we've got you know, we're quite a good group anyway. Like you know, and obviously because of the platform and almost we've been forced to use digital channels more. So it's probably put more emphasis on our sector and our industry to sort of lead the way in terms of, you know, things like live shows, things like content sharing, webinars. Like we're probably better than most industries and sectors on, you know, we're more comfortable with this platform going into this situation. So I think there's been more emphasis and focus on us as a sector to sort of try to lead the way and show what the possibilities are and kind of help to unite and galvanize people. You know, the work that you guys have been doing on the show, but also, you know, with the offering that you've been doing to help smaller businesses with kind of e-com solutions. It's those sorts of things that, you know, that have been really, really beneficial to help to shine a sort of a really positive light on our sector. And I think collaboration is no bad thing. We were always talking about collaboration prior to that. I think there's plenty of business out there, and I think all the digital agencies do it slightly differently, and there's some crossovers and overlap for sure. But actually, you know, it's great to kind of to be joining in the conversation rather than kind of trying to lock yourself away into kind of, you know, your own space. So yeah, I think it's hopefully been a positive experience for our sector, and I'd like to think that, you know, generally, and you know, you can see lots of other Kent-based digital agencies doing some really nice stuff as well. I've, you know, spoken to a number of them on the show as well, and it's great to see what they're doing and you know, share ideas and hopefully help everybody you know, look at the positivity, look at the opportunities in what could be a pretty dark time.
Sure. And so that leads me to finally ask you, in terms of the way that you see Sleeping Giant moving forwards and how the landscape may look different in the business world in the world in general, what's your kind of key takeaway from this experience, and how will you adapt and change? What will you carry with you as you move forward, lockdown?
Crikey, that is a question right there. We have spent a good amount of time trying to assess behavioral changes. So we've tried to look at our clients' behavioral changes, our team's behavioral changes. What are we likely to have formed in terms of habits over the last few months? And also, and your previous guest, Alison, talking about, you know, the impact on the environment and how these things have kind of changed. So so we are reinventing our business. We're not going back to where we were. There's not a case of we're trying to get ourselves back to the old Sleeping Giant media, because that's gone. If we try to go back to it, it's not going to exist. There's no, any of that business is not the same anymore. So we're looking at every single aspect of our business and looking at what it will be in the future, in terms of office space, how we utilize that, working from home policies, client meetings, travel, every single, you know, service delivery. How do we deliver it in a different way? We should focus on different aspects that will be more important to clients going forward. So we're the bits we're going to carry forward is sort of the agility. I think we want to make sure that our focus on content production, the sort of the timeline between the idea through to the final production is shorter, because, you know, we've had a good stab at it, and I think we've done a really good job. So I think it's trying to carry forward those, you know, that aspect, but at the same time completely reinventing the business and almost seeing it as a new business that we're starting rather than an old business that we're going back to.
Right. New world, new business.
New world, new business. Absolutely. Where can people find you and find out more about you? Yeah, so I mean, obviously there's our website, www.sleepinggiantmedia.co.uk. We're pushing loads of content there, but I mean, LinkedIn's a great platform. Obviously, you know, feel free to connect, carry on the conversation there. You know, I love meeting new people. I've tried to take this last 8 weeks as an opportunity to meet a lot of new people. I had some fantastic conversations with people all over the world, sharing new ideas, which is has been again similar to how it was when I started. It was I know confidently that I don't know enough to run a business, and I always have known that. And it's just a case of trying to find people that have got great ideas that I can kind of utilize in my thinking to help take it forward. So LinkedIn will be a great place, and love to hear ideas and share conversations with new people.
Absolutely.
Cheers,
Thanks
Luke.
very much for coming on. It's been
Thanks
great.
for coming on, Luke. And just quickly before you go, just something for you to think about. Danny said about 4 minutes ago that he's got to go and deliver a talk, and then piped back up 2 minutes ago whilst you was talking about relaunching or changing up the business with new logo? Question mark. So, I'll leave that one with you.
I don't know if he wants more work, but it's up to him, man.
Hey, Danny's got a lot of time on his hands now.
Apparently so.
I'll let you address that. Luke, thank you again for coming on. And again, thank you from us for all your support with your local delivery as well.
Nice one. Take care, guys.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
Take care.
All
Bye, Luke.